Hey everyone, how's it going? Backing in with another video this week. I'm in a different spot this week. I'm traveling here for work, but still wanted to get a video out to you guys this week, a topic that I hope you find is useful. One of the questions that I constantly get when it comes to navigating people's food environment and food intake is what to do about snacking. I think snacking is a common thing for a lot of people to do, especially if they're coming from a more standard American way of eating. Snacks are prevalent in their diet. They're for a variety of reasons. It could be related to they're hungry because the composition of their diet is not very good, leaving them hungry, so having to snack throughout the day. They have blood sugar swings, they're tired, they didn't sleep enough, they're fatigued, they're using too much caffeine, they're stressed, and then there's the whole marketing side of things where so many of the foods that we see either online or on TV, just in general in the content that we consume are snacks. And so we see promotion of eating snacks and constantly having to snack and make sure you have a snack with you, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, we that becomes ingrained in our mindset. So we're constantly thinking about making sure we have snacks. And so as I start to work with people or interact with people online, they often ask me for suggestions as to what to do with snacks. And my answer back to them is that there's nothing wrong with having to have a snack when you are hungry. If you find yourself truly hungry at some point in between meals, and having a snack is okay. Does that mean it's a good thing for your goals? Does that mean that you should always have snacks with you or be relying on them every single day? I'm not particularly sure that's the right case. So the reason is because I think that as soon as we start to fix a lot of the other lifestyle things, that our desire for snacks starts to go away, right? If you're, for example, finding yourself hungry because the foods that you've been eating cause you to be hungry, meaning you're not eating enough protein, you're eating a lot of high carbohydrate, highly processed, hyperpalatable foods that don't satiate you, and you find yourself to be hungry, and then you switch to eating a higher protein diet or a diet that is adequate in protein, around 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight, and you start eating a lot more fruits and vegetables and just whole foods, then I think that you might find that you stay fuller longer. And there's a variety of reasons for that, right? Number one being that you can eat a lot of vegetables and fruits and whole protein, and it's going to take a lot of time to digest in your stomach, and you're just going to find yourself full. And that doesn't mean that you're eating a lot of calories. You might be eating the same amount of calories, but you might find yourself fuller just because the food choices that you're making just take a long time to digest. They have a lot more fiber, for example, in fruits and vegetables. Whole protein sources tend to take a long time to digest as well. And by the time everything fully digests in your stomach and you find yourself to be hungry again, it's lunchtime, right? It's not the middle of the day. You had a highly processed shake in a bottle that you got at a convenience store for breakfast, thinking that's a good breakfast, but an hour later you find yourself hungry. So that's one of the first reasons why snacking might go away, is just you start changing the composition of your diet. The other reason is you might be eating a lot of highly processed carbohydrates, causing drastic changes in your blood sugar. So if you find yourself having a croissant, a donut, a muffin, a bowl of cereal, a bagel, and that's your breakfast, for example. I'm picking on breakfast, but this could be at any meal. Lunch, maybe you're having a big sandwich, mostly bread, very little protein or vegetables. Dinner, you're having a big bowl of pasta and bread with that. Those types of meals where it might cause a drastic spike in blood sugar because the carbohydrates you're eating are highly processed. As soon as that blood sugar drops back down, your body is going to send off alarm bells saying, help, we need more of that sugar because we need to spike your blood sugar back up, drop down too low, and that's dangerous. So it makes you hungry, right? To go off and find the next snack, right? To find the Snickers bar, to find the bag of chips, to find the muffin or the granola bar that's also full of sugar, etc., to have in between your meals. So this constant up and down, big spikes up and down in your blood sugar can also be a cause of your need to snack. Then we start to address things like stress, right? If you find yourself stressed, we often find comfort in food. And where do we find comfort in food? Snack foods, right? Those nice snack foods. So a bag of chips or a cookie or a candy bar or a handful of M&Ms or stuff like that, right? One way that a lot of people relieve stress is just by the foods they eat. And so snacking becomes just a stress response, right? Something to soothe their stress, right? So start to manage your stress better, and you might find that you're snacking a lot less. And then the other thing is sleep, right? Sleep does a lot of things. It obviously makes you tired if you're not sleeping enough during the day. It can also dysregulate your blood sugar. So combine poor sleep with highly processed carbohydrate foods like donuts and cakes and cookies and bagels and pasta and all that fun stuff. And you have even bigger disaster when it comes to your blood sugar. And again, regulating your blood sugar, go up and down. You're going to try and snack. And just trying to make it through the day, keep yourself awake. A good way to do that is to snack on foods and snack on foods that are high in sugar and spike your blood sugar and stuff like that. So your sleep can also make you snack more. And also, I think lack of movement and exercise also plays a role, right? Because movement and exercise regulates your hunger response. And so you don't move enough, you don't exercise, you have dysregulated hunger, and that can contribute to that. And again, leads to snacking because you're more hungry than you normally would. So the main message here is as you correct a lot of lifestyle factors that we talk about, from your diet composition to your sleep, to your stress, to your movement and exercise, it starts to better regulate your hunger response, keeps you more full, and you might find yourself not having to snack as much as you normally would. Now, does that mean that I never find myself hungry in between meals? Rarely, but occasionally I do. Does that mean that my clients never find themselves hungry between meals and they want to have a snack? No, that's just not the case, right? There are cases, even if you have nailed down all the lifestyle factors, where a snack is warranted, and that's okay. So, what do you choose for a snack in those cases? My first choice when it comes to snacks in those cases are going to be protein foods, right? Because protein is going to be the least hyperpalatable. It's also the macronutrient that most people fall short in, and is the most satiating macronutrient. Now, I'm not saying that for a snack you're going to cook up a big steak and have a steak for snack. If you want to, that's cool. But most people, it's a little bit more work than they're intending for a quote unquote snack. What I suggest for a lot of clients is jerky, bit long, which is an air dried beef, usually very similar to jerky. Just any kind of high protein. You could do a can of tuna, you could do a can of sardines, just easily portable, high protein snacks, right? So Chomps is a great brand as far as turkey. Check out their turkey sticks. They're 60 calories for 9 grams of protein or something like that. You have two of them. Epic is another good one. You just got to be careful because a lot of times the protein to calorie ratio can be a little bit off there. So they tend to have a lot more fat in them. But the Epic venison sticks and bars, those are pretty good protein to calorie ratio. I like Chomps. Their turkey sticks have a very good protein to calorie ratio, and they're completely satiating. You have two of those, get almost 20 grams of protein. You have 100 calories, and you're probably not going to be hungry for until your next meal. And it certainly beats a cookie, cake, donut, right? Throw a couple of those in your backpack so you have them at your work desk. Just make sure whenever you tend to feel like you need a snack, you have them with you so you're not scrambling to try and find something. Because when you're scrambling to try and find something, then that becomes an issue, right? Cans of tuna, cans of salmon, they all travel really well. Look up Bitlong. There's a company called Brooklyn Bitlong, which makes some really good air-dried protein, very high in air-dried beef, which is very high in protein and also quite low in calories. So check that out. You can do a protein shake, so a couple scoops of protein in a water, preferably. That may not satiate you that much because it's liquid, so that might not be the best thing as far as holding you over to your next meal, but it's worth a shot. It's high protein, obviously, low calorie. I also like these new David protein bars. They're very high in protein, very low in calories, have a fairly clean ingredient profile. They're probably some of the best protein bars that you're going to find out there. So check those out. They're not cheap. None of this is actually cheap. It's actually very expensive to buy snack foods that are high in protein because protein is expensive. but you shouldn't be snacking all the time where it's that much of a cost to you. But just be aware the price is going to be a little bit steep on some of these things. And then you have snacking on vegetables, right? Carrots go really well. A bowl of, I'm trying to think what else, other vegetables that tend to work really well. Carrot sticks are like the only ones. The celery, if you really like celery, I don't particularly like celery. But yeah, any kind of vegetables is completely fine. Anything you find. Fruit can be a good option. So having an apple, a banana, pear, any kind of fruit like that. Some people find fruit satiating. Other people find fruit not so satiating because of the sweetness in it. You have to play with what you like there. But really, any kind of whole food is going to be good. Another vegetable you want to snack on is like cherry tomatoes. That works pretty well. Pickles, that can be a good snack. Again, these aren't like cakes, cookies, candies, and bars that you might be used to snacks, but these are the snacks that I'm going to recommend to people to have when they do need a snack. But ideally, you want to minimize snacking. Ideally, you want to make sure you're feel for the most part between your meals. The other thing that I find people run into is maybe they're just not eating enough, and that's why they feel hungry in between their meals, and that's why they need a snack. So make sure you're eating enough food. That can be another problem. Even if you're eating a bunch of whole foods, you might just not be eating enough. So if you find yourself hungry in between meals and you're eating a bunch of whole foods, eat more of those whole foods. Another place where snacking becomes useful, like I just mentioned before, is if you're doing 2 meals a day, you're falling a little bit short on the protein side of things because you're only doing 2 meals a day, then I would definitely have you having a protein snack at some point, and that would be like a 20 to 30 to 40 gram, depending on how short you are. So it's more than just a snack, but definitely having a protein snack in that case would be good just to make sure you're hitting your protein goals. So at the end of the day, I think that we can eliminate a lot of the need for snacking, and of course, there's the mindset around it, right? Always thinking you have to have a snack, you have to have a snack, and letting go of that mindset of thinking about that too is a tougher challenge, but something I think you need to become comfortable with. Prove to yourself that you don't need a snack by just dealing with the uncomfortableness for sometimes. A lot of times it's just habit. You're always used to eating at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so your body sends a signal to eating 3 o'clock in the afternoon, even if you don't need to. So try to push through a few days without the snack, becoming used to that. Once you break that habit, then it might be easier to do that. I think that once we correct for a lot of lifestyle factors, the need for snacking starts to go away. Breaking the mindset around snacking, the need for snacking will start to go away. And then when you do need a snack, relying on whole food snacks, preferably protein sources first, are going to be your best bet. But then any kind of fruit or vegetables along with that work as a snack as well. So that's my opinion on snacking. That's how I work it into my life. That's how I work it into my clients' life. I hope you find that useful. If you need help on topics like snacking or larger topics like just constructing your diet so you don't need snacks, I do have a couple one-on-one spots open, so feel free to reach out to me directly and we can inquire a little bit more about that. Or you can go to my website, rjbhealth.coach, click on the schedule discovery call button at the top of the homepage and fill out that form, and I'll get back to you. We can talk a little bit more about one-on-one coaching. As always, if you want to keep up with all the content that I put out on a weekly basis, you can sign up for my newsletter. You can, again, do that at rjbhealth.coach. Click on the newsletter tab at the top, enter your email address, and you'll be signed up for the newsletter. You'll get these videos, as well as all the blog posts and other content that I put out on a weekly basis on the newsletter. So with that, I hope everyone has a great week, and I'll talk to you.